And there is also like a purpose problem nowadays. I have the feeling that people really struggling to find, I call it in German, their place in the world. They don't understand what it is for, this existence. Why should I? There is this Indian guru, Sadhguru. He says, you Christians, if you believe after your death you'll go to heaven, what holds you back? What are you doing here? And it's of course it's a humorous question, but there's some truth in that. I mean, it's one can ask this question and then find out, yeah, I mean, it's a pointless existence. And this is um, one point here where your model, your theory about how things work, why you think that we are in a simulation, and what is the purpose of this game. I call it the game of life, understanding the game of life. And to me personally, it was really a big breakthrough to discover that life is not there to be perfect. There is no, you don't have any right that things go your way. If you leave this assumption, things get so much more easy, and you can see yourself as a player of a video game, and everybody knows in the video games you have obstacles, you have monsters going after you, you have challenges, all kinds of difficulties, which make it interesting to play. And this, to me, this overarching philosophy, for me personally, it gave me, it was an eye opener. I felt, yeah, all my difficulties are there for me to grow. They have a purpose, and they are not. I don't have to regret things that happen. And yeah, you understand what I want to say. Yeah.
Sure. And I sum that up this way, and that is, this is the way life works. Stuff happens, and we get to deal with it. Now, most people spend most of their energy trying to manipulate the stuff that happens. They manipulate. They want this to happen because that would be good for them. They want that. They want the boss to give them a raise. They want their children to study hard. They want all these things to happen. So they try to manipulate all those things in their life to happen to be the way they want. But in fact, that isn't the way life works. The way life works is that stuff just happens and you get to deal with it. And the point of it all is you can evolve or de-evolve your consciousness based on how you deal with it. Not based on what happens so much, but how you deal with it. So that's the important thing. That's where your energy needs to be focused. Okay, stuff happens. Yeah, and it's not always nice, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's terrible. But whatever it is not nearly as important as how are you going to deal with it. And if you deal with it positively, you deal with it with caring, with love, not with fear and anger and ego and beliefs. If you deal with it in a positive way, then you evolve, you change, you grow up. And that's what life is really all about. Not manipulating things to be the way we want them, because that'll just leave us frustrated and always struggling, which is why the average person always feels frustrated and struggling. It's just, that doesn't work. That's not the game. The game is to deal with those things in a positive, caring, cooperative way, and then you'll get the next thing and you'll deal with that. And if you do this, for some months or even some years, you will find that life gets a lot easier, a lot more fun, and a lot more, enjoyable, and you find satisfaction. And then when this big thing happens that is not what you want, you don't look at it and say, oh, that's awful. You know, woe is me. Why does that always happen to me? And instead of going in that place of depression and negativity, you say, oh, okay, that's a challenge. Now, how am I going to deal with that? So it becomes a game. It becomes something that you kind of eventually pride yourself on your ability to meet whatever happens with a positive viewpoint and deal with
Yeah.
it in a way that is helpful for everybody. And besides that, the simulation itself does have purpose. It's not purposeless. The purpose is to evolve the quality of your consciousness, which in more technical terms is, lower the entropy of the consciousness. So there is a purpose why we're here. And the reason that most people can't find that purpose is because our culture believes in materialism and determinism. Okay? The culture, that's just a part of our culture. And it's not that you're taught to believe in that. You just do because it's part of your collective consciousness and your culture. Sure, that's what all the scientists believe in. And the scientists tell us, what to believe. So, of course,
Yeah.
this is like that. Well, in a materialistic world, everything is random. There is no purpose. There can be no purpose. Actually, there can be no consciousness either, nor can there be any free will. It's like, there's no point to it. So if we live in this purposeless place where the only purpose is a self-created purpose to make as much money as possible, to get as much power, as much control, and to be able to exert as much force as possible, because that's the coin of our realm. If you have control, power, and force, well, you're going to do all right. And if you don't, well, you go right to the bottom of the pile. So that becomes our purpose rather than caring, loving, cooperating. So we have a lot of people who feel good about themselves for ripping other people off because they are obviously superior, because they're coming out with more resources than the other person. So that's the name
Yeah.
of the game. It's a random game, and whatever you can do to get more control, power, and force, well, that's okay. And
Right.
if
And
you do it dishonestly and break the rules, not such a bad thing. Just don't get caught. It's like lying is not something that's immoral. It's only a problem if you get caught. So it's
yeah.
not like lying or cheating or stealing is wrong. It's like just don't get caught, and that just makes you smart, makes you clever. If you can
Right.
think of ways to get the money from somebody else's bank account into your bank account, and you end up having power because of that. So when you live in a space like that, that's why so many people are just lost. They don't,
Yeah.
they don't have a lot of resources. They don't see a way to get a lot of resources. It's hard for them to do that, and they just don't see any point. There's no point, there's no purpose, and they're lost. And then they
Right.
get depressed, and then they have to take Prozac because
True.
they're depressed. So that's the nature of our reality today.
Thank you for watching this clip until the end. If you found value in this information, kindly press the like button now. It would really mean a lot to me. Thank you from the heart.